Amazing. This is the Neo Dulcimers logo, and then this is actually a necklace that Captain Delacruz made for me along the lines of this one. I've actually got it upstairs. The cool thing about this cat is when we did Dickens on the Strand, okay? And Dickens on the Strand is where every year at Christmas, they take the Strand and Galveston and turn it into 1880s England. Oh my God, it's uber cool. But of course, you got a bunch of screaming Victorians who don't know anything about steampunk. Well, the other people they had there is the Confederate cavalry because they're there representing the Battle of Galveston, blah, blah, blah. So here we come, all these freaks with goggles and steampunk stuff and rifles and armor and stuff like this. These guys hated, especially the colonel, thought we were, bane to their existence. They hated us. They didn't want, who were these freaks, blah, 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 blah. Well, we did, and you guys get to go to the media panel, we'll show you the steampunk march. We had over 600 steampunks marching in the candlelight parade that night. It was, oh my God, amazing to be at the front of. But we come walking up, and the cavalry been put right in front of us. Of course, so we're dodging horse landmines, and there was so much energy coming from the steampunks that finally the sergeant at arms turned his horse around to look, and all he sees is 600 of us in full battle gear marching like this. He's like, "Fuck it, don't stop!" But as we got to the end of the parade, at the end where everybody's turning around and kind of going back to their thing, the cavalry had gone to the left side and was all sitting right here, and they'd moved over for us. So we had moved the entire line of 600 steampunks to one side. Being former military, it wasn't that big of a deal, it was just close order drill. So as Delacruz and I are walking, we have our sabers out, and we're walking. As we walk by the colonel, we presented and did this as we walked. I'm not even going to ask where you got that. Nice. No.
You know where the yellow fire hydrant is? Way in front.
It wasn't that.
We brought this from Galveston. So as he turned, we saluted to him, blah, 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 showed mad respect. Well, the next morning when we got there to do the parade on Sunday morning, we come marching out, and there wasn't quite as many because it was Sunday morning. Well, all of the cavalry guys stood up in their saddles and took off their hats and started yelling, "Steampunk, steampunk." Oh. So we're like, and somewhere there's this picture, and if I can ever find the person who took it, I want a cop. I will give money to find this person, because the colonel invited myself, my first officer, and Captain Delacruz to a meeting in their camp. So picture if you will, Civil War era campsite, old Civil War era table. On one side is the colonel, his sergeant at arms, and their chief scientist in full Confederate cavalry regalia. And on the other side of the table is myself, my first officer, and Captain Delacruz, in full steampunk dress armor, sitting across from the table. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, God, tell me somebody got a picture of this. This is so cool. But the sergeant at arms came up to us later that night, and he's like, "I just want to tell you guys, you impressed the colonel so much with your show of respect that he's never, he had nothing to do with you guys and wants to know if you can be back next year." And we said, "Yeah, we're hopefully if the History Foundation will have us, which we are coming back." He says, "I want to give you guys, Cap, I want to give you a gift." I was like, "Okay, you know what?" He's like, "I'll tell you what." He goes, "You got tats?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "One of my best friends is a tat artist in Austin. He's a world famous artist. Would you be willing to accept a tattoo?" I'm like, "Duh!" So he gave me his name. I called him up and says, "Yeah, he already called me. Whenever you want to come down to the shop." And I went down to the shop. He's like, "What do you want?" I said, "Can you do my logo and the Neo Dulcimer logo with my necklace?" He said, "Sure, have a seat." He drew it out. "Is this what you want?" Put it on my arm, did it up, walked out. So it was a gift. I was just like, what?
Ow.
All right, this is what you come up with. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. What? The block. All right.
How did you find a foot?
Don't ask, don't tell.